Hi. In today's video, we are actually celebrating my channel's 4th anniversary. 4 whole years of rambling about little plastic women. Can you believe it? I am actually a little late. The first video I ever posted here was on March 26th, 2021. But I just had some other stuff to do, other videos to make before I got around to this one. But better late than never. Happy 4-year anniversary, darling. And here's to hopefully many more, because I don't plan on going anywhere. I love talking about my niche hobbies too much. But if you don't know, I have an annual tradition here. For every anniversary, I like to put out a little form to my subscribers and viewers, and I ask them if they have any fashion doll related unpopular opinions or hot takes, and then I come on here to react to them. I don't know if this is a format of video that is as popular as it once was, but that's okay. They're fun to make and I hope fun to watch too. So obviously a huge thank you to everyone who took the time to submit something. I got, well over 500 responses, so unfortunately I cannot feature them all. I did have so much fun reading through them all though. Some of you guys are professional haters, and I love it. But I did have to narrow them down. Some I chose specifically because I thought they would be fun to talk about. Others I just selected purely at random. Also, I don't know if this is necessary to say. It is probably understood by anyone who submits something for this type of video. But if I feature your opinion and I disagree with it, I apologize. But it's all in good fun. I still love you. You are still valid. Unless your favorite Rainbow High doll is Lyric Lucas, in which case, well, I apologize a second time. Not for disagreeing, just sorry in general. God, I know the 3 Lyric Lucas fans out there must be so tired of me. Here's a hot take. I need a haircut. Bad. My usual stylist appears to have vanished, and I'm really dragging my feet on just making an appointment with someone else because I fear change. Anyways, not much else to talk about, I don't think, so let's go ahead and get into it. Actually, one quick announcement before we get into it. I recently opened up YouTube memberships here on my channel. If you're interested, you'll get perks like access to my exclusive Discord server, where we have a lot of fun. We play games together and have movie nights and stuff. There's exclusive videos too, thrift vlogs that I do semi-regularly, the Project Runway video that I had to private for copyright reasons. Also, collection tours, the first of which will be posted very soon. You'll have early access to all my regular uploads and be featured in the credits too. So check it out if that appeals to you. If it doesn't, that's totally fine too. You being here and watching my videos already means the world to me, so thank you. Alright, let's get back to it. Barbie the Nutcracker was mid. The pacing was weird and the animation was crusty. I'm convinced it's only one of the most popular Barbie movies because of nostalgia and the aesthetic. The story was not that good, and there are much better Barbie movies from the 2000s. Diamond Castle, Rapunzel, Island Princess, etc. Starting off with a scalding hot take here, but I actually agree. And I'm excited to talk more about this soon, because I am working on a video ranking Barbie movies, or 2 videos technically. I want a top 10 best and a top 10 worst, and I've been going through and rewatching some movies I haven't seen for a while, and I'm realizing either some of you out there also need to sit down and rewatch some movies, or you are lying to me. A Nutcracker, for me, is like firmly in the middle, mid, by basically every metric. I think she definitely deserves flowers for being the very first feature-length Barbie movie. She's a pioneer, a visionary, and I also fully acknowledge that a lot of the movies downfalls are because it was the first. Like, I do acknowledge that. However, I think what bothered me when I was watching it was how distinctly un-Barbie it is. And if you've watched it recently, I think you'll know what I mean. Like, the environments, the aesthetics, they were really weirdly boring. Like, I guess I just expect, like, a base level of whimsicality and glitter and sparkles when I watch a Barbie movie. So I found myself, like, just a little underwhelmed. And a lot of the animation, admittedly, did not age very well, except the ballet dancing, which was motion captured and was actually extremely good and really interesting to watch. It's not a bad movie, it's just, I'm not in a hurry to rewatch it, I guess I'll say. Gimmick dolls can be good, but most of what is currently hitting shelves just doesn't have good gimmicks. A good gimmick is something repeatable with the same doll, like color changing or glow in the dark, but a lot of the craft gimmick dolls just have one and done things. Looking at you, Creative Crystals Rainbow High. I agree, I think a lot of collectors are like vehemently anti-gimmick because it's something we associate with toys aimed at a younger audience, like even younger than fashion dolls usually are, I mean. But I think dolls with gimmicks are an important part of the doll ecosystem, and there is definitely a way to do them well. Like, create a monster in Monster High G1, that's as gimmicky as you can possibly get, and no, the Create a Monster dolls were not super high quality, but they were fun. They were so fun. Remember having fun? Because I'll tell you what's not fun. Whatever Rainbow High is doing right now, because a good gimmick is not putting moldy slime in your doll's shoes or making their accessories out of actual resin. That's not a gimmick. That is a biohazard. That is not fun. That is a future class action lawsuit. But yeah, I think we've kind of lost the plot. Though some of the new Monster High G3 playsets look fun, like Frankie with the Creature Lab or Claudine with those customizable cakes. Those seem more on the right track, I think. I know My Scene is essentially a Bratz ripoff, but in my opinion, their dolls ended up looking better than Bratz. The proportions, the fashion, the makeup, all those things were better made by My Scene. I find myself going back and forth on this one, which I think is a testament to just how good both Bratz and My Scene are as doll lines, and their own individual strengths. I think Bratz has more in the way of incredibly iconic lines and dolls, like just the sheer number of objective hits that Bratz has does outnumber My Scene, in my opinion. But the My Scene dolls that are really good are so good. They're so good. And it's also just that, like, when I think of my ideal fashion doll, the size and the proportions are more in line with My Scene, which is a personal thing, but I just think My Scene really are just like the most perfectly sized and proportioned dolls. But I also own way more Bratz than I do My Scene dolls, because I think Bratz are a little more fun to collect, whereas with My Scene, I just have a few very specific dolls that I really want. So I don't know, my answer on this debate really does just change from day to day. There was actually another entry that I wrote down that's pretty relevant to this one. My Scene's fashion ate Bratz up regularly. Bratz just had more cultural relevancy. See, like, I'm kind of scared to agree because the Bratz girlies will have me drawn and quartered in the streets. But I think My Scene at its absolute peak does kind of beat out Bratz for me, and let me stress, for me, subjectively. But the problem is that My Scene's peak is a pretty small portion of its catalog, whereas Bratz does a way better job of sustaining an incredibly high level of execution. Like, just the average baseline level of a Bratz doll is already so high, if that makes any sense at all. But Bratz did win in the end. Absolutely, Bratz has way more cultural relevance than my scene ever will, even when it comes to revivals. Like, especially when it comes to revivals, actually. I think the new generation of dolls that is upon us, besides Barbie, is better than what we had 10 years ago, like G3 Monster High and recent Bratz releases. I was about to disagree, and then I realized 10 years ago was 2015, because both time and math are nebulous and esoteric concepts to me. 2015 was a notoriously rough time for fashion dolls, though. It was the first part of the quote-unquote dark ages. So objectively speaking, yeah, we are in a much better place. Especially with Bratz. They've actually really surprised me. I was so frustrated with them for so long because it was like they were giving us everything. They were doing anything but new Playline collections. And now that they're going in on actually making dolls again, they've been delivering. The Monster High, too, seems to have really come into its own compared to when it first launched. So there's a lot to be wary of in the toy industry right now, but it's not all bad. There's some stuff to be optimistic about, too. Dolls need both quality and a good design to be considered great. I think in a perfect world, this would just be the objective truth. But for me, well, I guess there's some nuance. Like, I will always prefer an interesting design with shoddy execution over a boring design with incredible execution. Or, I guess a better way to word that would be that I can forgive a doll's outfit being lower quality if I like the design a lot. Whereas I won't really find myself impressed with a great quality outfit if it's boring. That was often my problem with Rainbow High, especially around the time of Series 2. The quality was always phenomenal, but the designs just weren't there for me. So a few of the dolls were just lost on me. But dolls like Rika-chan might be a good example. Her quality is usually about a step below what you might be used to if you collect primarily American brands, but she often has really cute and creative designs, and her aesthetics tend to align perfectly with mine, so I don't mind too much. Or like Ever After High, too, they always come to mind when I talk about quality. Because if you've ever owned an Ever After High doll, you know that those girls were dressed in actual literal tissue paper. I'm talking arts and crafts. I'm talking stiff, crunchy, crusty, dusty. But I loved them because they had such great character designs and outfit designs too, even if they were very ambitious for what Mattel was capable of accomplishing. But all that said, yes, ideally, a doll would have both great quality and a great design. I seriously think there's a hole in the market for dolls of video game characters, because I'm pretty sure there's some kids out there who'd want, say, Princess Peach as a doll. Speak on it, please. With how much merchandise Nintendo puts out in the world, it actually, baffles me almost that we've never ever gotten a proper Princess Peach fashion doll. We've gotten plush dolls and action figures, but where are the fashion dolls? And the material is there. Peach has so many good looks. She's getting even more. The new Mario Kart game, her outfits look so cute in that one. Even if it was just a limited release aimed specifically at adult collectors, I think it would go over really well. But alas, not every doll on the earth should be fierce or muggy. Sometimes dolls can just be cute, childish, and naive. That's why I don't always understand the war between G1 and G3 Monster High dolls. See, I love a fierce mug, I really do. But I'm also noticing that I really do tend to gravitate towards dolls whose faces are more cutesy, maybe, but I'm also not sure that's the word I'm looking for. To bring up Ever After High again, I love their faces. A lot of people really don't. I do. And I acknowledge that, especially compared to Monster High G1, their faces are softer, more cartoony. Barbie Dream Besties, I love their faces. I think they are so cute. But I cannot in good conscience look at Barbie here and say she is serving a fierce mug. I love her, but I can't lie to her like that. They're not muggy dolls, but that's okay. It really does just come down to personal preference. I also think that regardless, a lot of Monster High G3 severely outmugged G1. Oh, who said that? Oh, this one's a little long. I don't like big-headed dolls. They look disproportionate and ridiculous, and they make collecting as an adult even harder to take seriously. There is a reason why so many people collect Barbie, Integrity, and other more realistic dolls that have high-end deluxe releases, while most of LOL, OMG, MH, and even Bratz collectors overwhelmingly collect Playline. I don't have anything against people that do so, of course, and I do agree some of the designs can be quite beautiful, but when I see those huge bloated heads with those huge bulging eyes, nightmares, I tell you. Rainbow High killed my grandma, okay? I do kind of see where you're coming from. Personally speaking, though, my goal as a doll collector isn't necessarily to be taken seriously. It's to have fun. And I know from experience that people are going to judge and find me weird regardless of what I specifically collect, so I don't even bother factoring them in. But it's perfectly valid to prefer one aesthetic over the other. I think more realistically human proportioned dolls are always going to be more popular with adult collectors because they do carry the implication of being more mature. But it comes down to what you like and what kind of experience you're looking for. Exclusivity/limited releases make collecting fun, in the Integrity Toys way, not something like the Bratz Mean Girls way. Just because you want it doesn't mean you need to have it. I say this as someone who's missed out on plenty of releases. I do have to respectfully disagree to an extent, because as a collector, I do understand the satisfaction in owning something limited. Like, it just feels nice. And I'm not here to say that's a bad thing. I just think we also need to acknowledge that in a lot of cases, that feeling is very manufactured. Integrity Toys specifically just frustrates me sometimes. The lottery system is really not my favorite. And when they tell me a doll is being sold only by their dealers, then I'm like, okay, I just accept I'm not going to be able to buy her. Because buying these dolls sometimes is so needlessly complex and difficult, and it's only that way so we feel some sense of satisfaction when we're able to acquire her. Like we accomplished something when really all we did was hand over a bunch of money. But there's a middle ground. There's absolutely a middle ground. I'm not against the concept of limited products because I do think limited edition releases can be fun, can generate a lot of hype. I just don't need a lot of unnecessary barriers to actually buy it. Violet Willow deserves better outfits. She's my girl. I'm right there with you. I thought we were getting somewhere with her Creative Crystals doll, but ugh, those awful shoes, and also that doll. Making her accessories had to have been the most miserable doll-related experience of my entire life. That's not even an exaggeration. I actually did it on stream. Some of you might have been there. I was so embarrassed. I was so frustrated and miserable, like actually crashing out. And now I look at that doll and she just gives me the most unpleasant feelings. I associate her with pain and loathing and misery. Maybe the next one will be better. We'll see. The DC Superhero Girls line had so much potential and was kneecapped so early on. I wish I could have seen more takes on the characters. I've been thinking a lot about DC Superhero Girls lately, because I really want to do a full retrospective on them soon, like I did with Equestria Girls. And I agree, fully, because the hybrid fashion doll and action figure concept really could have gone somewhere. I think the first line had such really cool, incredibly well-engineered bodies, and then Mattel just like immediately dropped the whole fashion doll aspect. And then they dropped the action figure aspect too. So it was like, well, what now? I also really loved the cartoon that came with the reboot, but the dolls were... oh, they were not it. I hate Sunny Madison. Oh, don't mind me, just calling the police. Boy dolls aren't bad, they just have uninspired / lazy artists working on them. If you are familiar with any male idol series, like Idolmaster Side M for example, you know that there can be so much fun with masculine outfits, yet boy dolls always get a variation of sneakers, jeans, t-shirt, and a hoodie if they are feeling extra. Ooh, I love that you shouted out Idolmaster. I also love Idolmaster a lot. And like, yeah, there's a common misconception that I don't like male dolls because I never really buy them and I'm pretty critical of them in my new release videos. And it's not that I'm against the concept of male dolls, I just think 90% of the time they're so unappealing. They all serve the exact same kind of basic, safe, masculine fashion. If we let boy dolls actually be fun, I would love them a lot more. And fun doesn't even necessarily have to mean feminine. I would love for male dolls to be more feminine, but it's not really a requirement. Just make them more visually interesting and unique. Like, that's all I really ask, and you wouldn't think it would be too much, but... Monster High G1 related, I'm sorry, but I hate the Sweet Screams line. You know the nausea you get after you eat too many sweets or look at a huge candy display? Sweet Screams gives me that, but visual sugary nausea. I actually remember reading a few entries about not enjoying Sweet Screams, and I... like, kind of agree, just not passionately. But that's the thing, Sweet Screams is one of those lines where, like, I just never got the hype. And keep in mind, I was a Monster High collector from day one, since it launched in 2010. I was there when we saw Sweet Screams for the very first time, and, like, I don't know, I wasn't gagging. And I couldn't even really tell you why. Like, you'd think a line like that would be right up my alley, right? I love super sweet, cutesy aesthetics, but I never liked them that much. I think they're cool. They're fun. I see why people like them. I definitely don't think they're ugly, but they're not for me, I guess. I don't care for horses. I'll never understand why basically every doll line comes with them at some point. They're huge, terrifying creatures, and I lay awake at night, shaken to my core that I might have to encounter one someday. No amount of pony eyeshadow pink saddles or brushable platinum blonde bundles will ever change my opinion. The only thing they have going for them is their occasional camp factor. I don't know if I've ever talked about this, but I'm actually extremely afraid of horses. Like, I have two big fears. Blood, because I'm legitimately hemophobic and I'll black out if I see it, and horses. I am terrified of them. I can't go near them. They freak me out so badly. And I live in Texas, so like the possibility of encountering a horse in my day-to-day life is actually quite high. That said, I love a cunty horse. I just do. Like a horse in a Barbie movie with the glittery pink eyeshadow and the Ardell wispies. I'm sad because they almost don't look like horses to me. They're like an entirely separate, more evolved species. And maybe that makes them appear more safe in my brain. G3 Claudine isn't bad. I feel like she's been getting dragged left and right ever since G3 debuted just because her first doll was fashionably challenged. Let my girl breathe. For me, the problem wasn't even really Claudine's clothes. Although her first doll's outfit wasn't top tier, it was fine. It had a lot of personality. What I always hated was the hair. I could not stand that silvery purple color they gave her with the dark brown underdye and the bright purple streaks. I still think it just looks abominably bad. I will say though, for a while, Mattel was giving Claudine a lot of like 80s and 90s inspired clothing, which I thought was a really cool way to define her style, made her stand out a little more too. And I kind of miss that. They've stopped doing it with her more recent dolls, which are still pretty good, but still. I'm not long-term angry at any particular doll content creator for taking advantage of the popularity of videos on niche and nearly forgotten doll lines. However, it's miserable to see dolls I have been waiting on a steady price decrease to become affordable to me suddenly skyrocket in price and popularity when they're mentioned in a video. I do think that it's a genre of video I would like to see retired. There's almost never any new information on these dolls. Anyone looking for a niche doll line to collect could do their own research. And the effect it has on the community is that those of us with the tightest budgets watch our grails drift further out of reach. This is a difficult subject to talk about. I do personally disagree that creators should be forbidden from talking about lesser known or niche doll lines because they're fun. And anyone has a right to talk about whatever they want, really. But it's definitely true that videos like that can have a negative effect on the secondhand market. Which, to anyone who hasn't seen it happen, I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. Like, Pinky Cooper, remember her? She used to cost, like, no more than $20 for one of the basic dolls, and maybe $30 for one of the more deluxe ones. She was extremely accessible as far as pricing went, because she wasn't even that popular when she was released, and was just sort of quietly forgotten about. But someone who is a very popular creator made a video that featured them, and now, yeah. And that was years ago, like almost 3 years ago at this point, I think. And the prices just never recovered. They're still really, really expensive. And I want to be clear, I bear no ill will or hatred in my heart for the creator who made that video. Because obviously, they did not sit down at their desk and go, I'm gonna make these dog girl dolls shoot up in price on eBay because I hate doll collectors. No, they just wanted to share something they enjoyed with their audience. The only thing I'm mad at is just how fragile and ridiculous and unserious the secondhand fashion doll market is. I feel like Playmates Toys has dropped the ball on the miraculous dolls. They only make dolls of Marinette, but what about all the other characters? Carapace, Eagle, Pigella, Polymouse, or even the characters' civilian outfits. I felt Playmates had so much potential, but now they just make gimmicky color reveal dolls or another Marinette as opposed to the well-designed character dolls they had. I'm a little behind on Miraculous Ladybug because I kind of don't like the show very much, but I like a lot of the characters, and I remember not too long ago, I finally watched the episode that Pigella, God, I hate that name, but I watched the episode that she first transformed in, and I really liked it, and I remember it made me want some of the miraculous dolls, because I'm like 6 years old and subliminal marketing works extremely well on me, I guess. But I was legitimately surprised that she didn't have a doll, and disappointed too. And as I watch more of the show, I realize exactly how much potential is being wasted on some legitimately pretty good character designs. As an American Girl collector, there isn't much going on with the brand anymore. I'm low-key bored now. The amount of times in the last year, really, that I've just thought to myself, like, hey, I haven't checked up on American Girl in a while. I wonder what they're up to. And then I check the website, and the answer is absolutely nothing. I honestly think Mattel is having a little bit of an identity crisis with American Girl, because it seemed like for a while they were pretty keen on turning it into a more collector-oriented brand, or at least making more products aimed at adults, really banking on nostalgia. But that really doesn't seem to have gone anywhere substantial. And the historical collection, they just sort of seem to be ignoring entirely, which is unfortunate. I do love American Girl, but I feel like it's been a while since I thought it was worth, like, actively keeping up with. I don't get the hate that one doll fandom gets from another doll fandom. Like, y'all both like dolls. What's the problem? Brand loyalty in fashion dolls really is something that I find so fundamentally bizarre. Like, why are you fighting these companies' battles for them? Like, they pay you or something. I also just think it's really limiting. You are actively cutting yourself off from products you might actually really enjoy just because you have this weird sense of devotion to a corporation. At the end of the day, we are all buying these little plastic women, and there simply isn't a reality where having one kind of little plastic woman makes you any better, or smarter, or prettier than someone who has a different kind of little plastic woman. Also, why do you take it as a personal offense when someone has a different preference? We should be holding hands and then skipping under a rainbow to Target together, not fighting. And the best part, since you like different dolls, you don't even have to fight over them in the toy aisle. I don't know, I get very opinionated about certain things that definitely do not matter, but this will never be one of them. I will never be loyal to a toy company. Sorry. And that is all of the ones that I wrote down. Again, such a huge thank you to everyone who sent one in, and thank you to everyone who sat down to watch this video. And thank you to anyone who's ever taken the time to watch any of my videos. I've been doing this for 4 years now, and it's been such an incredible experience all the way through. I have talked about this before, but I am not a particularly confident person. I struggle a lot with anxiety, with acknowledging the fact that what I have to say is important. That sounds so silly to say out loud, but it's been a lifelong struggle of just feeling that I don't have a place because I'm too shy or too weird, or that I don't deserve to be taken seriously. But running this channel has helped me find my voice. It's helped me feel more confident in who I am. It's helped me connect with so many people who have the exact same interests and hobbies that I do. Like, oh my god, thousands of people actually take the time to just listen to me talk about dolls. Not only that, but it is like literally my job now. And every time I think about that, I can't help but smile. And I get comments all the time from people who tell me that I help them feel less alone. And I think back to years ago when I was younger and I would watch doll YouTubers for the same reason, knowing that I am, I don't know, like continuing that cycle in some sort of way. It just makes me really happy. So from the bottom of my little doll loving heart, thank you. And I hope that we'll keep having lots of fun together in the future. Please like and subscribe for any future fashion doll content. And remember, keep it cute.